Hello crafters and welcome to this week's From Picture to Page and Beyond Papercraft Show update. Now I'm Michelle Brown, Creative Director from Picture to Page, and we're nurturing your creativity with in-person and online events. Now for this week's update we've got a dash of inspiration which is rather nostalgic. We've got all the show news and of course what's been going on with the Papercraft Posse. But before we jump into it, make sure that whether you're watching us live or a replay, pop in the comments, say hello, let us know you're there, and of course join our conversation over with the Papercraft Posse to let us know what you think. Now this week's dash of inspiration is a little bit different. So last week, Gillian suggested that since ATCs are making a comeback, should we think about doing a swap at the next show? And I thought that was a fantastic idea because for those of you that have been around for a while and have done swaps before at shows, it just really takes the experience to the next level. So some of you may have done that before. I remember way back in 2000 when we went to our very first Stamping Down Under in Adelaide and people were swapping pins and I didn't know anything about it. This was like before the internet, so we didn't have that sort of information. And there were so many generous crafters that gave me pins that I wasn't able to reciprocate. But following that, we went from pins to ATCs and it was a fantastic opportunity to get together to share our little pieces of artwork, and we would love to do it again. So for those of you that don't know, an ATC is an artist trading card. Now they're a standard size, they're 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches, and the idea is that you put a little bit of artwork on the front. Now also I've got folders and folders of them. I've had a lovely morning going back through them all, and we've done them as swaps, I've done them as events. I've got some from stamp camps, I've got some from Melbourne Paperific Expo, some of them all the way back to like 2006 and 2007, and names that I'm sure many of you would recognise. So it really is a lovely way of having a little piece of art like a business card and then swapping it with other crafters. So if you think that's something that might interest you, let us know in the comments or over in the Papercraft Posse, and we will put a plan together for creating ATCs and then swapping them at the Pakenham show as well. So my thoughts at the moment, which still aren't quite solidified, is if you haven't made ATCs before, then come along to our Papercraft Posse Crafternoon and we can have a day making ATCs. And then at the show, which is the 18th and 19th of May, we'll have a session where we can get together and swap them. So that makes it a little bit easier throughout the day. And I'm thinking we do the raffle usually at 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So whether we did it directly after the raffle, because that's a time when people are together. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you making ATCs again? Are you doing swaps? Would you like to swap some at the show? And then let's work it out. We can, I don't know, sometimes there was a theme. Maybe we don't want to make it too complicated. There's a theme. And then on the back, you'd put your name. And again, this is before social media, so we usually would put an email address on it and then what the event was that we were swapping, so we've got a record. So something like that. So like I said, for those of you that have done it before, would you like to do it again? If you haven't done an ATC swap at a craft show before, then you are in for a huge treat. And again, you don't have to do a whole heap. You can just have as many as you've got and trade them and get little pieces of art from other people, as well as making some lovely crafting connections. So that's my dash of inspiration. All that's old is new again when it comes to ATCs. So let's get them back out. Let's get swapping at the Pakenham show, and more details to come. Now, before we get to May, we've got a couple of events on. Firstly, our Crafty Stash is this weekend. It's Saturday, the 2nd of March. We're heading to the Notting Hill Community Hall, which is in Ferntree Gully Road, Notting Hill, which is not far from the corner of Blackburn Road. So sort of somewhere between Mulgrave and Clayton and Mount Waverley and Notting Hill, bit of a strange suburb. We're going to be there from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Now, sellers, I have sent you an email with lots of details yesterday. Please check your inboxes or your spam, and I have asked you to reply to that so I know that you've received it. And I've had about 3 or 4 replies, so I've got about 15 or 16 replies to go. We've got a fantastic range of sellers coming along. You certainly will be able to grab a bargain. Please bring a bag to take your things with, and of course bring a whole heap of change as well, because each seller will be doing things slightly differently. I don't think many will have FPOS facilities, so if you've got a whole heap of small change, that just makes it easier for everyone. And of course we're there to do a community service to help rehome unwanted craft supplies. Now we've got a handful of Stamping Up demonstrators, and then a few people that have had stores before. So there's going to be all sorts of things that maybe are secondhand, but also some in really good condition as well. So that's on this Saturday, the 2nd of March at the Notting Hill Community Hall. I would love to see you all there. As we said, there'll be no Bendigo show in March. but we are heading to the Train and Hobby Show. Oh, goodness. We're heading to the Train and Hobby Show on the 16th and 17th of March. It's only 2 weeks away. Tickets are on sale. There really is something there for the whole family. There's going to be model trains, model cars, model planes, model boats, model tanks, bigger tanks, all sorts of scales from tiny little ones up to big ones. And of course, we'll be hanging out in the Makers Arts and Crafts section where there'll be free classes to do. You can stock up on your craft supplies. I think there'll be a supply of sweets there. We've got some fidget spinners. I'll have to make sure I have more details with all of those who are going to be there for next week. We're just finalising those last few numbers. So that is going to be, did I say at the Sandown Raceway on the 16th and 17th of March. Now for all the details, head over to the Train and Hobby Show website and you can get your tickets there as well. Now, in April, we've penciled in our Papercraft Posse Crafternoon on Saturday, the 27th of April. So that's a chance for like-minded crafters to get together, meet here in our Mount Waverley headquarters, bring your own lunch and craft supplies, small cover fee to cover our morning and afternoon teas, and of course keep the lights on. And like we said, let's use that as an opportunity to make our ATCs so we can swap them at the Pakenham show. Because then we are turning our attention to Pakenham at the Cardinia Cultural Centre on the 18th and 19th of May. We've got a fantastic new lineup, lots and lots of your favourite retailers, plus one or two new ones. So we'll be very excited to announce those when it gets a little bit closer. Tickets will be on sale about mid-April for that as well. And then as we mentioned last week, you can pencil in our online show on Friday the 19th and Saturday the 20th of July. More news soon. Now, our Papercraft Posse is a little corner of our internet, a Facebook group where we can come together, we can share what we're working on, ask questions of each other and the retailers, and generally have a lovely crafty time. So this week, Julie shared not one but two scrapbooking layouts that she did during her cropping weekend. Debbie shared her scrapbooking layout, and Sharon from Paper Source shared one of their offers. So it really is a good place to come and let us know what you're working on. And of course, that is the place to go to talk about ATCs and what we're going to do with them at the next show. So I think that is it for this week's update inspiration. If you have made ATCs before and you would like to come and swap them at the show, then make sure you're in the group. We'll work out some details and share that when it gets closer. D-Stash is this weekend, Saturday the 2nd of March, 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. All the details, of course, are at our website from picturedopageandbeyond.com.au. If you scroll down and click on the little purple D-Stash one, it's got a map there of where to go, shows you where the parking is and the overflow parking. Plenty of free parking, wheelchair accessible. There will be hot drinks and cold drinks and snacks available, but do bring your own lunch if you're staying for the day. No Bendigo show, and of course the Makers Arts and Crafts at the Train and Hobby Show is not far away, just over 2 weeks, and we'll definitely have more news on that next week. So that is it for this week's update. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you do leave a comment, give us a like, thumbs up, share us with your crafty friends, and continue to be part of our gorgeous crafting community. So this is Michelle signing off. I hope you have a crafty day. Bye for now.